Can we fall in love too many times over the course of a life? Oh, I don't just mean romantic love, although that certainly can be exciting, fulfilling, and quite often change the course of a life. I'm talking about all the joyful, loving sprinkled through our everyday. A moment, a meal, a friendship, a place, a memory. Do we count those with the importance they deserve? Do we recognize the real value of those moments? Or do we let them slip through our fingers, attention focused on the never-ending treadmill of doing that somehow erroneously has been labeled success? Instead, what if each night before bed, we gathered small pieces of fabric to stitch together into the loves of our day? A bold stripe for when we laughed too hard, a gentle floral for a yummy meal, a bright polka dot for the new puppy we met, an intricate paisley for the quiet conversation with a friend. Over the years, we would watch our quilt grow, tangible evidence of each moment, capturing the memories in fabric and thread. And finally, at the end of our journey here, our loved ones would gently wrap us in the moments of our life, and we would sail off to the next adventure, pleased and proud, knowing that in this life, we truly, truly loved. I'm back in Oregon. I've been back here for about a week, and I actually get in the car tomorrow morning to head back home to Grass Valley. And I'll tell you what, right now you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, this gal has moved so often that she's probably a pro at it. And you know what? Nothing could be further from the truth, and I can't figure out why. I can't even count the number of times I've moved in the past, 25, 30 years. And I would even think that I really had it down by now. And I totally don't. And I can't figure it out. I'll give you a clue into my delusion about my abilities. When I first made the decision that I was going to go ahead and move, it was a short time frame that I had to get everything together and out of this house. And Suzanne was talking to me and she said, are you going to be able to do it in that amount of time? And I actually said to her, piece of cake. I don't have stuff. Because I've moved around so much, I don't have stuff. It's not like I have 25, 30 years of accumulation. Well, guess what? I've got stuff. I've got stuff. I started a few weeks ago and I'm just now finishing up, and it's the day before I leave. And when I was out in Grass Valley, when you guys saw me decorating the little Hobbit cottage, I scheduled my time here in Oregon to about 8 days. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do for all those days? Because I'm gonna have everything packed up in a couple of days and then I'll have nothing to do. Guess what? I've been busy every single day. So no, I'm not a professional at this at all. So here's the thing I can't figure out about moving, and it's happened to me every single time. And tell me down in the comments if this has happened to you, if you've moved a few times the last few years. It doesn't matter how much I plan, how much I weed things out, prepping to pack. I will always end up with that random sock in the corner or a pin on the floor in the bathroom. What's a pin doing in the bathroom? It's just goofy to me. I am really kind of shocked at all the little stuff I have because I didn't think I had stuff. Guess what? I've got stuff. I'm hoping that this time around, because I plan to be in the Hobbit cottage until I find a piece of property to buy. I'm hoping that I learn my lesson about random stuff. No more random stuff. Because I'll tell you what, I am really getting to the end of my packing rope, but I always do that. I'm always cranky and, frustrated with myself towards the end because it's been such a long haul. But today is the final day. I'm starting to slowly pack up the car, just a few things right now, closing down room by room, making sure they're completely empty, looking in all the cupboards and all the drawers and that sort of thing, in the closets to make sure nothing got left behind. And then later today, it's Thanksgiving when I'm filming this. It's also my 69th birthday. And I almost forgot about my birthday. I've been so busy, and it wasn't until my daughter, bless her heart, Heather, texted me at like 1 in the morning or midnight or something, happy birthday. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So later on today, I'm going to Suzanne's house for Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful for her friendship, and she's including me in on her family vacation. And then tomorrow morning, I head back home. And it's nice because when I think about the little Hobbit cottage, now it feels like home. I'm just getting ready to do my makeup before I go over to Suzanne's. Took my shower, did my hair, that whole thing. If you want to see how I style my hair, if that's of interest to you, I actually did a video. I'll have it linked down below in the description box where I walk through everything from how I wash my hair to the styling products that I use and the whole thing. You might find it interesting. You might think because I've traveled so much, I've traveled less than some, more than some, but I've done some traveling, that things might go really well for me all the time. And the answer is that's just not the truth. That's just not the truth. And I want to tell you a story about my last trip down to the Hobbit cottage. And it was kind of a little event. I had left the house early in the morning because that was my long day. I was going to drive the whole thing in one day. It takes about 8.5 hours with stopping to let Lucy out to go potty and me to go potty, the whole thing. So about 8.5 hours, which is about 4 hours too long for me these days, but I did it all in one because I had a car packed full of my belongings and I just thought it would be a good idea to get directly there. So I had left the house and I was only like 25 minutes into my drive. I was going through Bend and all of a sudden in the road in front of me, and I'm on the highway, I see these big chunks of wood all strewn all over the road. And it looked like firewood, like someone had been splitting firewood and they put them in the back of their truck and took off. And some of it fell out on the highway. Well, I was dodging the wood in the road in front of me, and all of a sudden I look up and there is this huge chunk right in the lane, right in front of me. Oh my gosh, it was a big chunk of wood. And I'm going fast, I'm on the highway. And luckily I was able to course correct really quickly. To drive so that my wheels went on either side of that big chunk of wood. If that had hit my wheels, I don't even know what would have happened. And I was able to kind of center over that piece of wood. And the next thing that happened was this huge sound as it hit my car and lodged underneath my car on the highway. I mean, it was wham, super loud. And of course, the next thing I'm thinking is, oh shit. And I realized that I had a big problem. Unfortunately, I was on the highway and there wasn't an exit that was coming up. And I thought, I've got to get off, pull over, get and look underneath the car and see what's going on. No exit, no exit, no exit. And I am slowing down on the highway with this big chunk of wood lodged underneath my car, and I can hear it. I can hear it grating against the pavement. So I'm going, not seeing an exit. And all of a sudden, what I thought might happen, happened. And what happened is that wood got ground down enough that it finally dislodged itself and went out the back end of my car, which, fortunate for me, not fortunate for the person that had to then dodge it. On the freeway, now the piece of wood is no longer underneath my car, but I'm thinking, oh man, there has got to be some damage under my car. And I'm like visualizing the oil pan scraping along the freeway. I finally found an exit and I pulled over and I got out and I looked under the car. Now my car rides really low, which is part of the problem probably. I mean, it's very, very comfortable to drive, but as far as clearance, it doesn't have much clearance. So I wasn't really able to shimmy underneath the car on the side of the road to see what was going on. But I did get down on the ground and I looked underneath the car. I didn't see any impaired damage and nothing was leaking. Like I was visualizing, you know, fluid just gushing out the bottom of my car because that noise was so loud. So I got back in my car and I drove very cautiously and carefully, keeping an eye on all the gauges, the oil gauge, this and that, the heat, the whole thing, you know, the temperature of the engine. And over time, it felt like, okay, maybe I don't have any damage to my car. But I did know that if I made it all the way to the Hobbit cottage, I was going to want to have it checked out. So I'm driving, and now I'm like 4 hours into my drive, and all of a sudden I'm hearing something underneath my car is scraping along the freeway. Oh no. So I pull over again, shimmy, try to look underneath my car, and I see something hanging down from underneath my car. I can't tell what it is. I don't know that much about cars, but there's not much clearance, and I kind of feel like I've got a problem here. So I looked up on my phone the closest auto shop, and that's where I went. Now, getting there, I had to turn on my blinkers, you know, my hazard lights, and go along the shoulder of the freeway because I didn't know what was dragging. And I didn't know if it was going to kick up sparks. I didn't know if something was going to fall off. I really didn't know. So I'm going, you know, 10, 15 miles an hour on the shoulder of the freeway, finally get to the exit for the closest auto shop. And I pull in there, super nice people, but their lift was not working. So there was no way they could lift my car up and see what the problem was. And really, it's just not that much clearance underneath my car. So it's not as though, you know, the skinniest guy on the crew could shimmy underneath there and fix it. What they did do is they gave me the name of another auto shop close. It was 2 exits down the freeway, which means that I had to get back on the road, turn my, you know, hazard lights back on, going 15, 20 miles an hour on the edge of the surface road and then on the edge of the highway. And I finally found the little auto shop that they had recommended that I went to. And the name was Wimberley. Wimberley, I think Smog or Auto Shop. I'm not sure. I'll have it listed down below. And I pull in there and a gentleman comes out and I explain the issue. I said, something's dragging underneath my car. I didn't go into the whole story because I just felt like it was almost, you know, irrelevant. They were going to find out what the damage was. And they pulled my car in like right away. Like I didn't even really have to wait. They pulled my car in, lifted it up on that little lifty thingy. What do they call it? The hydraulic thingy. And looked underneath it. And this whole time I've got Lucy and I'm just walking Lucy around the parking lot because I'm thinking, well, this is a good opportunity to give her some exercise. And it relieved my stress a little bit, not standing there watching them do it. So about 10 minutes later, I come back, and the gentleman that was working on my car says it was just the plastic covering that was underneath your car. I guess there's some type of covering that protects all the goodies under the car. And a piece of that had fallen down. And he said, I also noticed something else was sort of bent, so I wired it up and this and that. And I said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was so pleased that they didn't say to me, the entire undercarriage of your car has been jacked up and you're gonna have to have it in the shop for a week and it's all full of my things. So they bring it down off the hydraulic little thingy, and he gives me a whole lot of confidence that it's just fine. He said, it's not a big deal. We see this a lot with this make of car because they ride so low that if you hit anything, it's going to disrupt that plastic covering underneath the car. So I said, oh, thank you so much. I was so grateful. And I said, what do I owe you? And he goes, oh, it's free. And this was the owner of Wimberley in Lake Shasta. And I'll tell you what, at that moment, I just had a little feeling of love for that guy. He was so nice. They were so courteous. They were very, very helpful. And when all was said and done, he said, it's no big deal. Just, enjoy. I was so tickled and so pleased and so grateful and so touched by not only their professionalism and the expedience with which they dealt with my problem and how kind they were, but then not to charge me. I was just stunned. I was just stunned. It was such a wonderful reminder that when we're a part of a community and we really want to do good work within the community, really magical things can happen. And I am so grateful. If you live in the Mount Shasta, Lake Shasta area, put Wimberley on your list. Absolutely. I'm going to have them linked in the description box down below. And one thing that I want to say is when I was walking around the parking lot, I noticed in one of the windows of the shop, the owner's mission statement. And it was so impressive and so heartwarming. It said something along the lines of, I want to be an integral part of this community and offer the best service at the best prices so I can support my friends and neighbors in all their automotive needs, or something like that. And the way it was worded, it just warmed my heart. I guess the moral of the story is, yeah, bad things do happen, but when we come together and we really appreciate that sense of community and we do the right thing for each other, it can all work out in the end. I'm getting ready to go over to Suzanne's. I am taking a locally baked pecan pie, and the baker said that the pecans were just fabulous, and pumpkin bread. I wanted pumpkin pie, but they had pumpkin bread, so I got that. Some of Suzanne's family is going to be there. I haven't met them yet, so it should be a very, very fun day and lots of food. I'll tell you what, you guys, I think I've lost 5 pounds over the course of this moving month, just because I've been so active and so busy. I barely am getting in 1 meal a day. So I am excited to be going over and eating a big turkey dinner at Suzanne's. What I want to talk with you about now is falling in love. Falling in love with places, with people, with moments, with memories. And it really has to do with all the moving around I've done, which has been fabulous. And it was my choice, my decision. I decided I wanted to do it. And I'm really, really glad I did. I have had such a fabulous time in the last 10 years, met so many wonderful people, had so many great experiences. It really was a lifesaver for me. It really was, and I don't regret a minute of it. But here's the downside. I don't think it's something you would think about unless you had done what I've done. And that is, for every location you fall in love with, for every friendship you make, for every cool adventure you go on, it creates not only that love and joy in that moment, but it also creates a longing after you leave. And I once explained it to a girlfriend like this. I said, living in too many places is like having too many boyfriends. Because when you have a boyfriend, regardless of how long the relationship lasts or how it ends, you always have something you truly loved and appreciated about that person. And that's what I think about. It's like my travels have been so exciting, but they've also created in me a little bit of heartbreak when I leave, because I'm leaving something that I fell in love with. You know, when I think back to when I was living in Tulum, I was in Tulum for about 4 or 5 months. And girlfriends and I, we would go down to the beach, and what we would do for the day is bob in the water. Literally, we'd go from laying in a little cabana on the beach to out in the water, and we would just bob up and down because it was bathtub warm. It was gentle surf. It was just so relaxing. It was like getting a massage all day long. And I miss that. And I miss the ocean there, and I miss the views. I will get to see it soon with those of you who are going with me to Tulum and Bacalar. I'm so excited about that. So it's those little joyful moments of falling in love with an activity or a person or a place. Then you walk away from it and it leaves in its place a little bit of longing. When I was in Montana, and I moved there specifically because it was a small mountain town, and it was really near Glacier National Park, which right now is my favorite national park. I'm kind of a national park person. I haven't seen them all, but it's on my to-do list. And I was living in a little town called Whitefish. Whitefish is Andy of Mayberry life. It is so sweet. The kids leave their bikes out on the lawn. You can walk downtown. It is so lovely and so gentle and so sweet and so very beautiful. And the winters there are cold but spectacular. It is so beautiful with the snow just drifting out of the sky, and it's very quiet, and everything is just covered with this glorious glistening white. It is so beautiful and so peaceful and so wonderful. You know, in the state of Montana, there are fewer people in the entire state than the whole Phoenix Scottsdale area. In Arizona, there's just not a lot of people there, so it's very, very peaceful, very community oriented. And there are times when I look back at the moments I had there, and it just is kind of like, oh, it makes me miss it. when I was in Ecuador, and I made so many good friends. And then I see them post about walking along the Tomebamba River or being down in the square in Cuenca. Oh my gosh, it just brings back a flood of memories and such an exotic, wonderful town. Just so many great moments in Cuenca. That was in Ecuador. And then coming back up to the Northern California coast when I lived in the little town of Casper, really close to Mendocino, and I had a little tiny studio overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And that's where I was living when I started my YouTube channel. Really, my studio was about this big, and I would sit and watch the ocean. It was so beautiful and so peaceful, and the redwoods there were glorious. So I guess the point I want to make is, as much fun as it has been, and all the great moments I've had, and all the incredible memories I've made, it doesn't come without a little bit of price. And that little bit of price is a missing and a longing and a deep, deep appreciation for all those moments of joy and love.
It looks, I mean, it's beautiful. Did you do any cheesecloth or?
No,
Oh, you find it.
What you doing, girl? Why? What do you want to know?
Can I tell Jackie all about it?
Well, of course you can.
So
Suzanne and I are going to Tulum.
with a bunch of your ladies that follow you. And so finally she said, okay, I'm ready to like.
No, she's leaving out the most important part. And the most important part was I wasn't going to do it on my own. And when Suzanne and I developed our friendship, I started thinking she'd be really good. You know,
Oh yeah,
along with
she's an
me.
easy trap.
For editing, I'm like, tell her I'm sorry in advance. I don't know what I'm doing.
My editor calls Suzanne the OG, the godfather of thrifting.
Oh, your daughter.
Yeah.
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 Do my thing.
Okay.
You think I'm gonna forget you? Birthday girl.
That's so exciting.
Oh, that's a pretty shirt. I mean.
The good stuff.
You know, he'd eat like steak, potatoes, and broccoli, but he would never eat like anything was put in front of him. So,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh, look how pretty.
That's right. So go early.
for the chaos.